Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Natchez Parish School Board Committee meeting. I need you to silence all of your phones so that we can keep in the decorum of our meeting. Also, if you are speaking to any agenda item, there are some forms at the back that will allow you to speak on that agenda item. And that agenda item specifically, you will have 3 minutes to do so. I'll ask now that Ms. Rebels will give us our roll call.
Mr. Danzy?
Here.
Mr. McGuire?
Here.
Mr. Benefield?
Here.
Mr. Garner?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Present.
Mrs. Bedros? Here. Mrs. Willis? Mrs. Broadway?
Here.
Mrs. McGaskey?
Here.
Ms. Palmer?
Here.
And Ms. Phelps.
Our superintendent report.
Yeah, so this month a lot of good things have happened. We sent out the largest tax checks in the history of Natchez Parish. Our sales tax collections this year were historic. So our employees were very excited about that, and we're excited about that for them. And then also on June 30th, the COVID compensation that was originally suggested in the brainchild, I guess you could say, of Ms. Palmer went out. And so I think folks were very happy about that. So good time to be an employee of Natchez Parish School Board in the month of June and July. Want to mention to all of our board members that board docs is up and going. I think for the August meeting, I think we'll be able to have everyone utilizing that. It's super easy. It's been very helpful, and you can see we're already starting to transition. So if you haven't gotten a chance to look into that, please talk to Ms. Kanika either today or by Thursday. Something that I'll direct your attention to your packet. 2 board meetings ago, I mentioned to you that Ms. Katrina Willis, our board member, was going to resign her position, and she's made that official with the Louisiana Secretary of State. So we received that letter today, and so I'm going to read you some of that very quickly. It says, "Dear Mr. Euler, in accordance with LARS 18653, I am enclosing a copy of the notice of resignation received from the Honorable Katrina Fowler Willis as a member of School Board, District 5, Parish of Natchez, pursuant to LARS 18602, the governing authority shall, within 20 days from the date of the vacancy, on or before July 21st, 2021, make an appointment to fill office and call a special election. The next available election is March 26, 2022 and April 30th, 2022, with qualifying dates of January 26th, 27th, and 28th of 2022. After a proclamation is issued calling the election, an appointment has been made. A certified copy of the proclamation calling the special election, as well as the certified minutes of the meeting in which the appointment was made, or certified resolution, are to be mailed out or mailed to our office. A commission will be issued to the person appointed to fill the vacancy. If the governing authority does not timely call the special election and or make an appointment, we will forward a request to the governor to do so pursuant to LARS 18602. If you have any questions, please contact us." So we will probably need to have some discussion after my report about that matter. Some news to report in the COVID front. We received some new information from LDOE. It's very recent. It's hot off the presses. They have encouraged us to still continue 3 feet of social distancing. They have also still encouraged those who are unvaccinated or cannot be vaccinated at this point, those under 12 years old, to continue wearing masks, in which we adopted that last month. We are encouraging those folks to do it. But what they've done is there's a federal guideline that just came down from the CDC. The President of the United States made it mandatory on all forms of public transportation, which, depending on how you feel about this, unfortunately or fortunately, includes public school buses. After discussing this with some folks from LDOE and all of the superintendents in the surrounding parishes, it seems that pretty much everyone, what they will be doing for the forthcoming school year is allowing for non-masking to go on in the school buildings, but while on buses, masks will have to be worn. And again, that's fresh off the presses. That is not a Natchez thing. That is actually not a state of Louisiana thing. That is a federal thing. If anything changes, we will update the community as soon as possible. We have not put this out to the community at all until tonight, so we will be updating them so they'll be fully prepared. And we still have a ton of masks here that we can issue to folks and allow them to comfortably ride those buses. I do want to mention summer school. Summer school ended last Wednesday. It was a resounding success. The kids, from kids to teachers to our wonderful administrators. We had Miss Catherine Johnson, Miss Carissa Davis, and Miss Marsha Doherty ran our 3 summer school sites. Glowing remarks from everyone who went. It was different than normal. We had the PE, we had the art, we had the music, the STEAM, and all those things that made it worthwhile. So we think those kids got a lot out of it, and we'll definitely have some of that learning loss, or be able to make up some of that learning loss. Also, in the month of June, we had our retreat with our principals and our the instructional specialists that we had hired at that point. It was extremely powerful. A lot of good stuff happening in terms of our academics, whether it be our skinny period that we're instituting or the standards-based instruction that we're really pushing. It was a wonderful time. A lot of work got done, and we're excited about the dividends that it's going to pay. Also, I want to make a note that NVA, our Natchitoches Virtual Academy, will be offering to all high school students the ability to take AP level classes in addition to their normal schedule. And that's something that I think we put out there, but I felt like probably 90% of parents just aren't aware of it, and we're going to do some informational stuff to get it out to them. But I think that's a big deal because that's another way students can earn college credit. And I believe in the next week or so we're going to have some more announcements concerning our dual enrollment and associate's degree options at both the community college and the university. So that is all I have, but I'm sure we want to talk about a few of these items before we move on.
Yes, especially reiterating on the resignation of District 5, Ms. Katrina Fogg. So basically we have 20 days to pick someone to fill that vacancy. Then I think it's what's the date?
For the special election, you can either choose March 26th or April 30th of 2022, and the qualifying would be for January 26th, 27th, and 28th of 2022. So,
I think there's a runoff option. There's a primary election and a runoff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, gotcha. So March 26th.
The March one is when it airs to 2, and then the April one's where they go to select, if there's more than 2 people running.
Okay, so March 26th would be the initial.
Okay.
So that would, the person y'all appoint would be interim until that election.
And they would have to run if they choose to.
Would Thursday be too quick to put it on the agenda and work something out Thursday? Or we wouldn't have to have a special meeting?
That's what I would prefer.
Do they require a special call meeting?
If
No,
to appoint somebody, if we don't do it Thursday, we would have to have a special call meeting to appoint somebody before the 20th.
Yeah.
And I think we had spoken of this prior, so this is no surprise.
Yeah, we were just waiting on the letter from the Secretary of State, which makes it official and starts your timeline.
All right.
Okay, so that we are going to add that to the Thursday agenda.
And all the ones that's interested in it would have to put in and have to prove that they qualified in that lives in that district to oppose the appointment. But
Right, they need to do that if anyone is interested.
I think we also ought to ask those people to speak.
Yeah.
that's to be here, yeah.
All right.
That concludes my report.
Old business? Under, go ahead.
I'd like for us to talk on Thursday night about the parking lot down the street. Do we have any updates?
From anything from the attorneys on the parking lot over at the bus in the warehouse?
Yeah. Our attorney, Joe Stamey, has been working on that. He said that he was hoping to have that resolved by the end of June. He's looking, we're hoping any time now. He is not here to speak to that, but I could probably have him here by Thursday to address that situation.
Just an update, if he's not available, just pass the word on to you,
Okay.
because I'd really like to see some closure for.
Right.
Again, it's been on.
I passed by there and saw the growing up in the city.
Yeah, the pad's there.
Talk about that.
Needs to be dealt with.
Well, we have the design that was gonna go in there so the neighbors would feel comfortable with the design work that would be there. And I think, but we'll see we'll see where it's at.
So other old business, I think we discussed the broadband.
Broadband.
So, Mr. Walston, do you wanna?
Well, we have one of the broadband has been bid, the bid has been opened. The bid with Epic Touch is $7,980,000. We only have the funding. Here's what happened. Once we finally knew the number, we have 1.2 million of it dedicated out of ESSER 2 funds, and that money's there. The 6.8 million roughly that is needed is gone off for ESSER 3 funding, and we will have that answer back from LDOE,
yes.
LDOE, sorry. LDOE, that should be back shortly. That, Julie, I'm looking over Title I because it's Julie. Julie will let us know the moment that 6.8 million is available.
So, and just to be clear, when we budgeted the 1.2 million, we did not know.
We had no idea what it was gonna come in at. We had no clue.
And so it's not a matter of we don't believe LDOE, I mean, they obviously approved this already, but we don't necessarily know all the guidance on ESSER 3 yet. The belief is it's gonna be similar, very similar to ESSER 2, but we just simply don't know at this point.
Right.
And so we can't commit to that 6.7, 6.8 remainder until we get the go-ahead from LDOE. And to Mr. Walson's point, it should happen any day, but you just don't. When we say 2 weeks, a lot of times it's 3 weeks, and sometimes it's 2 days, but we just don't know when that information is going to be.
Just like the 1.2 million, it went all the way back to Washington D.C. for approval. It's the same process they have to go now with ESSER. That was ESSER 2 money. ESSER 3 money is going back. So Baton Rouge already is in agreement with it. The idea is that it has to go to back to the federal government in order for them to tell us what they think.
And go ahead.
I'm sorry. The difference is with the ESSER 2 is federal monies and ESSER 3 is from the state.
No, it's still federal.
It's all
what it is.
federal incentive. It's all the incentive monies that were given to us, but it was different cycles of the ESSER 3 funds was the first one when Biden first took office. It was his stimulus bill he passed right after getting into office. That's ESSER 3. Okay. ESSER 2 was the round.
And ESSER 3 is the much larger one. They gave us 20% of it already, but that's for summer school.
Correct.
And it's only for that. The remaining 80%, which I think is somewhere in the range of $20 million, they have not released to us, nor have they given us complete guidance on yet.
Okay, federal, it's determines which way it has to be used.
Yes, ma'am. And again, we believe it's going to be used in the same way, similar ways, if not the exact same way as ESSER 2, but until we know exactly, we just can't speak to it exactly. I will say to Mr. Wascom's previous statement, I want to be sure everyone understands this. It's 7.9 million for
7.98 million.
7.98 million, which that is for 95% of the parish to provide that to.
Correct.
To be lit up.
To be lit up. 100% of the parish.
It's an extra $12 million.
Yeah, and so I think our recommendation to you as a board is $12 million for 5% less it's probably worth going with that 7.98 figure than it would be to do the entire 100%.
So it's 95% of all the addresses we supply to all the vendors bidding to have 95% of the ones, the addresses we gave them. So it will not be 100%, but it will be 95%.
Can I comment on that too?
Certainly.
At the bid opening, Reverend Harris and myself were here when those bids were open, and through Ethic Touch, they give us a package of what it would take. Like myself, I don't have a kid, a student. So if the cable passes my house, basically I can get on that service for around $100 at my cost, a one-time cost. But they offer like 3 different packages that you can add to it, build your own. The highest, I think, the whole package is about less than $100. I would pay that. The people that I've talked to would pay that to be able to have doing the internet service. Because I would love to be able to take that dish and throw it off in Red River that I got now.
Well, and to that point, sorry, microphone's too loud. To that point, if you do have folks who have a monetary issue with being able to pay for it, there are also programs that would reduce that, I think, to the point where it's maybe $25 a month. Is that correct, Mr. Kozan?
Something along those lines.
Yeah. And what we tell people all the time is, you might say, well, some people may still not be able to afford $25. But if you look at this as your entire entertainment package, whether it be your TV, your internet, your phone, your education, all those things together for $25, you're actually probably going to have a savings of what you're currently paying, and at least the way we figured it, because now you can have your TV through your internet, you can have your internet through the same thing, and then utilize some of your phone options as well.
And we're talking about a game changer.
We are.
Fiber optic,
This is to their house.
right,
This is
to
fiber to the house.
this,
This is a big deal.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Is that, the internet assistance that you just indicated that's available to persons that can't afford it, is that information made?
It's currently available on the website. We've also run it a few times. I've been on the radio about it, because that's something that they can get now. In fact, people, even if they have internet, they have like stipends or whatever to get a laptop or get different things. That this is all through the federal government. We want them to utilize this. We're pushing it out as much as possible. We can push it out many times over. They can, if they currently have internet, if they don't have internet now, if they don't have internet and can't get internet, but they can have a laptop that maybe they can have a Wi-Fi to, they can access numerous things through this program, and it's very easy to apply for. And I think every student in our parish is covered because it's based on free and reduced lunch numbers. Is that correct,
Right.
Mr. Kozan?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking for is when if we move forward on this, I think it's a big game changer for this board. It's a positive thing for this
No,
parish.
I know that.
And,
They need to be aware of
we
that
never
too.
probably gonna ever get this opportunity ever again to be able to do this.
Now,
There's other things coming down the channel, but more than likely, it's, gonna be some satellite stuff. It ain't, no good, no better than what we already have. So, we know the fiber optic works. We know that the people that got the bid on this they're local. They'll be able to maintain and keep it up. So I'm really we're asking for your support on that when it comes time to move forward with that.
And the CPTEL crew is here to
yeah, I'll
answer any
if there's
questions that you want to bring them forward.
But the big thing before you get going is folks have to reach out and see what's available, what works for them. And then pair it with what the parish is offering and use those resources to help their children. And that's the big thing. You've got to reach out. You've got to do the investigation. And not everyone, it's not going to be a rubber stamp where it fits all. But if you look and investigate, use the resources, I think this is going to be an outstanding advantage to the children.
And real quick before we move forward too, I want to make sure everyone knows this is not general fund money. This is not local money. This is federal dollars that was meant for this. The other thing is if we allot the full 7.98.
Let's say 8 million.
Let's just say, yeah, close to $8 million. If we allot that total amount from ESSER 2 and 3, there is a high likelihood that we're not going to use all that from ESSER 2 and 3. We've already gone after $1 million grant
Broadband.
that is specifically just for this, and we were told by the gentleman who's in charge of the state office of broadband that this is going to be the first of, I can't remember the exact, but basically there's going to be a ton of these grants. Also, we know with the federal infrastructure bill more than likely eventually going to pass, there's going to be more money coming in. So even if we say, hey, we're going to use ESSER 2 and 3, more than likely we're going to have multiple sources to fund this.
And we'll just withdraw. If we commit 6.8 million with ESSER 3 and then we don't need it, we'll just, it will not exceed 6.8 million in ESSER 3 money.
And Mr. Walsham, just for the board's consideration, can you tell the breakdown of our cost versus the vendor's cost?
The actual amount of money to do this 95%, it was around 10 million. Epic Touch's contribution was around $2 million in their skin in the game, so to speak. And like I say, they're here to talk about how many crews they would have, how they would start to do this. Also, how long it would take to get the whole parish done, if y'all would like to hear from them.
Yeah,
I don't wanna drag this on too long, but there's a lot to know.
So, Mr. Lee, has every board member got a copy of this pack, this plan?
Did you ever, is Chris here?
No.
Chris was supposed to email, but I will get that
Can you
to
take
the
that and
board.
make that, or they can have that, that gives you the monthly costs and what the packages are and everything, that they're willing
It's
to
all
offer.
overkill.
Do y'all have
I
that?
think I have.
You have some?
Yeah.
I can go photocopy it.
I think I may have enough.
Any
It's kind of a little over, it's a little confusing. I think that was kind of our customer service
Okay.
listing.
In or outside of the city.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Cozad, what's the name of that program again? It's the federal,
It's the ECB, and let me
Emergency
pull up,
Broadband Benefit Program.
EBB, yes.
It's EBB program.
emergency
I-
broadband
It's
broadband
emergency
benefits.
broadband benefit.
I hate not to use these guys, they got much more knowledge and, I wouldn't want you all to, allow them to leave and not get their expertise about, what they're going to be able to do. And when I tell you, it's a game changer, being a person who's, dealt with, voice over internet protocol and all the different things, when you have connectivity, not just here locally in Natchitoches, but all around the world, you open up doors for even businesses to want to locate in your community because you got connectivity.
Well, I'll tell you one more thing, and I'm gonna shut up. I'm so hooked on this thing that I'm dreaming about the little orange poles that goes on there. And because I can't wait to start seeing them go down in our areas now.
And what we're thinking is that the cost of our connectivity, they're gonna even be able to connect with neighboring parishes. But because Natchitoches is who it is, the oldest settlement in the Louisiana Purchase, I think we should lead the way in everything. Come on, Miss Roy.
When will this start? When will it be available? Do you have a?
Well, I can leave that as a question to them directly, but the idea was, the first key to the success of this program is to secure the fiber optic
Yes.
wire, and we need to do this as soon as possible.
That's the important talking point tonight.
Well, the idea was, can we do something with the 1.2 million to secure the fiber optic wire so they could put it in their warehouse, and that's enough to do the entire parish? Because otherwise, if we wait for the rest of the country to clean out the warehouse, then we will have to wait 44 weeks,
Y'all know.
which is almost a year delay in getting started. So, gentlemen, I was gonna invite y'all up to say what.
Something.
Yes, sir.
Maybe three.
Just introduce your name,
Natchitoches School Board members. Glad to be here. Happy to see y'all again. My name is Donnie Barker. I'm an engineer with Epic Touch, also known as CPTEL, Kempton Blizzdale Telephone Company. Been around since 1933. Not me, but the company. I'm close to So when I was first approached with this project, my goal was to engineer this with the best functionality and redundancy while also maintaining the lowest cost possible. I think I did that. I came up with a number of $22,800,000 to do the entire parish. There's lots of students in this parish that live down a 4-mile road with no one else on the road, no other students on the road. So that's the 5 or 10% we're going to miss in phase one. We had a meeting with the CEO and our general manager here and all the managers last week. And when it came my turn to speak, I had to say that, there is an elephant in the room, and that elephant is a Natchitoches Parish School Board broadband initiative. I feel it's the biggest thing that's happened to Natchitoches Parish in years, and I think it's going to change the way that we do business. So with that said, I requested of our CEO that she would consider coming down 10% on my cost. I had nothing built into this. It was strictly cost. So she thought about it overnight and decided to come down $2 million. I said that to let you know that I don't want us to be thought of as a general contractor or a utility company, but we want to come into this project as partners with Natchez Parish School Board.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we all live here. We all live, everyone in the company lives in Natchez Parish. I live in Natchez. It would be a wonderful thing to get this type of speed. And I will say with confidence that Epic Touch has the best customer service in the area. So we have that. And once we get this material purchased, and Lee is so correct, I've spoken to the major warehouses in the country, and they are all running short on fiber. And everything that has to do with resin for some reason, pedestals, handholds, I would have liked to have ordered all this 2 weeks ago, but the reality is we're going to try to get ordered as soon as we're able to do so. So I'm hoping the contract gets signed soon, and we have the ability to order $800,000, $900,000 worth of material and have a partition place at our year warehouse to store that while it's being constructed. A project this large is going to require a contractor. And the contractor I've used for years is a contractor that I totally depend on. And he has committed to me 4 construction crews, all of it board. So with 4 construction crews working at one time, they can get 5 miles a week of board with conduit under roads, pedestals installed, handholds installed. And at that time, it's our responsibility to splice all the fiber cable and to bury the fiber drop or aerial drop to the customer's home, install the router, Wi-Fi for hotspot, and if they wish, a telephone number. And just to put things in perspective, if you had 25 meg download speed, you could easily stream on 2 TVs, have a couple of laptops, while a couple of children are on the smartphone. Okay? You can do that with 25 meg. The specifications on this is 100 meg. Not to say we can provide 100 meg, but the customers don't have to pay for 100 meg. There's, as you see on the sheet, there's incremental cost on that. And not only can you take, say, 25 meg and 3 up, which I think would be way sufficient for me, the cost is much less, okay? So, in answer to your question, Eugene, there is approximately going to be 7,875 orange marker posts.
Just to be specific.
I'm writing that down. 7,000 what?
875.
So, real quick question, and I don't know if you have these numbers. The amount of people who are not currently served, do we know how many that is and how many they would now serve?
We have a pretty good idea of how many residences where students live. I don't know how many students live in each residence.
No, residences would be good if you know that. I think that would be a good illustration for everyone.
Justin?
Estimated fiber to the home students served is 626 with a possible of over 5,000 after this build.
5,000?
That's fiber to the home.
So currently it's 600,
Currently, it's an estimated 626.
and would raise it to 5,000, over
To
5,000.
right over 5,000.
4,400 households installed.
And we probably, maybe we don't want to get into this tonight, but we get requests all the time for people wanting fiber. And we, being a private entity, we simply can't afford to put fiber everywhere. It would take, we just can't do it. I wrote up a job for Goldana 3 years ago. We tried, but we just didn't have the resources to do that. In Goldana, I suspect there's 200 people who would sign up.
Oh, easy.
And on the way there, there's more than that. So it's already engineered, and I would suggest we just begin to go down from our office in Weston. I know a lot of this can get political, but we're not going to just go to students. We're going to, if we pass your house and you request service, we're going to give you service. I estimate for this smaller $8 million project to take us approximately 24 months to complete. We would be responsible for the service drop and the installation, and that average cost to us is about $800 in installation. Of course, that's not included in this. So with that said, I just hope we're able to order the material just as soon as possible and get it in the warehouse. As soon as we get the material, I can have construction crews going that week. Because I've been communicating with people, trying to line up material, trying to get people ready to do the construction work, and we're just kind of on hold waiting, you know. So, is there any questions?
What'd you say?
I said, can we apply?
Yeah, you're gonna be
That
able to
cost is
get on
so
it.
high.
To this board, we have 1.2 million available. If there's a way we can work it out legally by Thursday, is there a way we could go ahead and commit to allow them to buy the fiber and put it in the warehouse?
That's what I would want to talk about.
So the key is that their bid is almost $8 million, 20,000 shy of $8 million. And the key is, how do you properly do this without getting into problems with the bid laws? And so if we could split this into 2 payments or something, I don't know. But it's theoretically possible that we can only do 1.2, and then what if they don't approve it, or they take another 2 months to approve it?
So I think
the key is to get the fiber in the warehouse, and it buys us time. Otherwise, we're gonna have to wait 44 weeks, and we're no longer.
So the 1.2 is budgeted, and it's in the federal budget and all that, and I think y'all approved that piece of it. I think in the meantime, between now and Thursday, we can try to contact LDOE again, and see if there's any movement on that, and then also talk to our attorneys and see what can and can't be done, and I would like to think we can provide something for y'all to an agenda item for Thursday. Not sure exactly what it's gonna look like, but we can work on that between
Would the
now.
board entertain that, in the questions to CPTO, would y'all entertain us committing up front to up to 1.2 million, so you can buy your fiber and put it in your warehouse? And then the 6.8 would come later.
Yes.
Well, that's what we need to make sure that it's on their end, because on our end, I think we pretty much know what we wanted to. You know.
It would be awesome to have an answer back on the other.
Granted, I would love to have LDOE approve this by Thursday at 4:59 tomorrow, Thursday, but I just don't know that that'll happen. It took about 6 weeks to get the ESER 2, the 1.2 approved.
Yeah,
So,
things are just going kind of slow with all that because they're having to contact the feds, and the feds are having to contact their lawyers and their lawyers' lawyers and all that
It
fun
went up
stuff.
15% last month.
But I'm excited about this. This is very important.
So we're gonna work on some stuff for them for
I will
between now and Thursday.
try to push it, yes.
All right. Any other old business? New business? Announcement of public meeting. Announcement of public meeting.
What's that?
Under new business.
Is that,
I think that's what we need.
get my announcement here? I'd like to make an announcement of a public meeting. Notice is hereby given that that at its meeting held on Thursday, August 5th at 5 p.m. at its regular meeting place, next parish, the Parish School Board Office, Boardroom, 310 Royal Street, Natchitoches, Louisiana. The Parish School Board of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, plans to consider adopting resolutions ordering and calling elections to be held in Consolidated District 8 of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, and Consolidated District 10, Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, to authorize renewal of ad valorem taxes therein. Just read that in.
That's it.
Okay.
CEO of Transportation Board,
Yeah, I think Mr. Johnson is here with us.
Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Should we keep masks on, or are we able to
Again, when,
take them
Yeah,
off when
yeah.
we're speaking? Okay. Nice to see everyone again. I hope everyone had a safe and nice holiday weekend. Wanted to just introduce one thing that we do here is I have some updates right from a transportation standpoint. Have some change from a personnel standpoint, but also we introduced myself, Jeff, Karen from our corporate team, but a lot of the time we haven't had the time to introduce our local team members here. The local team members that have helped with the improvement of the routing last school year, helping with the driver retention, safety program. So I just wanted to introduce these individuals, and before I do that, Alfred Matthews is no longer part of the Echo Ride team. So he's transitioned out, and as we go through these introductions, Felicia Washington will be the person attending these meetings and providing the transportation reports moving forward. And I want to assure the board and the school district and the parish district that this quality of service that we've seen over the past year will continue, as it was a lot of the individuals from Tammy and Melissa really helping with the routing, all the school, the city school routes, that changes we made last year, as well as Michael and Samantha Johnson's not able to be here as she had scheduled time off. But what they've done is incredible with the fleet of buses, condition of roads, and everything that we kind of put the vehicles through on a day-to-day basis. So I'll just want to introduce Felicia Washington, is operation manager, will be moving into that terminal manager role. We have Miss Melissa Blake, dispatcher, who was also, I think she, if you remember, attended a previous meeting when we heard about improving communication with the schools, working with the principals and the disciplinarians. And since that role, coming from driver to that role, that has been promoted, moved into dispatch. Tammy Rushing is one of our dispatchers as well, who's been in transportation in Natchitoches Parish for a couple of years. Obviously, she knows the roads and areas extremely well. And Michael Weeks is one of our mechanics. Again, Samantha Johnson's not able to be here, but just want to recognize our local team members in addition to our drivers and monitors, because without them, our drivers, our monitors, that's really who helps make our operation smooth. So if you guys would like to say anything, or if there's any questions from the board, obviously want to open it up.
If no one has a question, I did want to mention that Mr. Wask and myself and Mr. Ryan and his staff will be meeting, I believe we said sometime in the next 2 weeks, to discuss some of the concerns that y'all have had about trying to decrease route times and things of that nature.
Correct, that was going to be my second point.
Yeah, the straight shot we were talking about.
Talking about some different things, just trying to make sure we can improve stuff and not at the same time make it cost effective, you know.
Yeah. I think it'll be something that we're evaluating every summer as students move, as they change locations, change grades, so what school they're going to, and similar to the broadband where some students are in outlying areas, and we'll present options to Mr. Wascom and Dr. Eloy. Yeah, you want to say something? Or?
My thing, this year, you're saying that the students are gonna have to wear face masks on the bus. Because a lot of them don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't let them up. We're not getting no support from the schools when we do. So we're going to need some help with that.
I think that's going to be, because literally this was, we were discussing this mid-afternoon with the different superintendents, and everyone's kind of grappling with it, because I'll be honest with y'all, everyone felt a certain way because they said, okay, governor says no masks, and then the president comes back and says masks on buses. So we're still trying to work through that. And I fully would like to have that conversation with y'all, and invite y'all's suggestions. And I think, you know, the two major players in that are going to be the drivers and the principals, because, you know, we're talking about whether things should be disciplinary actions or what they should be. And so I think if we come together on that, we can probably figure some stuff out. And the only reason I don't have an answer for you is just because it's fresh.
Yeah.
You can work through it. You'll work through it. We'll be okay.
have a question. Even though the buses aren't running, or is the office still open?
Yes,
With
ma'am.
the sun?
Yes.
Yes.
Do y'all have like a number?
318-352-6465.
Okay.
And I think that Ms. Washington is gonna do a great job. Ms. Matthews represented the company well.
Yep.
He did a great job.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. McGaskey.
Good deal.
And I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you. I know some of you guys, so just given this opportunity, I think that everything is gonna move forward and everything will be successful. And we all pull together and work together as a team, you know, that's only one way to go is forward. So thanks for this opportunity.
I think I know most of them.
We just wanted to take time to thank our local team, and obviously, it's enough of us, you know, myself and Jeff, so, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Text.
Okay, if everybody will pull out the tax commission report, turn to the 5th page. And this report is for the month of May. And it was the 5th page at the top, it says fiscal year tax distribution, page 5. At the very bottom of the page, you see on the month of May, on the very column all the way over to the right, we've had a 21.7% increase over last May. If you go to page 7, 2 pages later, for the year, as of May, we still have one more month to report, but it's a 1.9 million, a little bit more than $1.9 million increase over last year's collections. This has consequently led to a sales tax distribution to the teachers of probably the biggest number that's ever happened. And so I'm real proud to
Real quick, I just want to say, and they don't like attention, but they deserve it. The payroll department was amazing. Mr. Harris, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Rock, the whole team. So, they're one of those groups that, you know, when everything's going right, people just expect it, and when something minor goes wrong, they get very upset. But they did some amazing work. So thank y'all so much.
The COVID check also went out, but they took a program to a rewrite to get that done. I know it was later. It was the very last day of June, but that did go out. I think that
How
was,
many rewrites?
I don't know. I was I lost count of the second or third one, but
So it was a pretty
I think
good-
of the last rewrite, they were able to just make minor adjustments on the manual printout, and then they just went with it.
But it was a substantial effort to get it out right.
Yes, it was, because it's based on a different way of doing things. It's not. It's something different than any other school board had done, so they had to write it specially for us. Usually they can take one they've written for another school board, modify it, and apply it to us. This was something completely different, so it had to be rewritten ground up. But the sales tax check went out, and like I say, it was a significant amount of money for everybody. I'm real proud for the teachers for them to be able to receive that money. And well, it's actually not just teachers; it's everybody in the district.
Everybody.
I know, Lydia. All personnel. So that's about it. Were there any other questions? I mean, if you look at the very last page, people are buying motor vehicles, pretty good rate as well. A 22.09% increase in motor vehicle purchases and sales tax collections. That's why you can't find anything on the lot when you go and buy automobiles and stuff.
I know.
Yeah, they're trying to buy you cars when you go into the oil change.
Okay. So that concludes my sales tax report. The next is the budget report. And what I'd like to say to y'all on this report is that we are showing the expenses exceed revenues. However, we're not through posting all our revenues. And we still have more. I'm going to give an update to this next month. because we still have indirect cost postings and a lot of other things that have not been posted to the revenue. In child nutrition, there is they're in the positive. I'll allow Shauna when she gets up here and gives a report, but they struggled all year in the red, and now they end the year in the black. That was really great. And also on the last page, on the second page, the Title I, they appear to have overspent $600,000, but always remember we received the what was it called, CARES Act?
CARES Act. Yeah.
CARES Act money at the end of last year. The money was spent mostly in this year, and that's where you see this adjustment. So we showed over last year. This is now us spending that money from last year. Also, always keep in mind that in the BRE funds are not listed here, but the BRE funds are also, a lot of them were spent we had a historic hurricane storm and then a historic winter storm. These storms have stressed the finances, but I think overall we'll look okay. We still have FEMA, trying to be FEMA flexible as they call it, waiting on them to be able to eventually reimburse us. They still intend on reimburse us for the spoilage, but I'm not going to say when that'll happen. When it happens, I'll just let y'all know. But everything else, like all the disposal of all the trees, all the pickup, all the emergency recovery, and even future construction will be in the money that they send us in the future. That is still pending. We have hardly even started on that money. Though we have spent, as a district, we've spent money to do these things, this money will eventually be reimbursed to us. Not only restoring some general fund money, but as well as restoring a lot of the BRE funds. So I'll let y'all know on that. But I'm not willing to put the period on the 2021 until probably the July board meeting, okay? Because we still have some revenues to post.
August board.
The August board meeting for the July report. I will be presenting two reports, the July report in August and an update on the June report in August. And and then we should be pretty much ready. We'll be pretty much close to a close of books for June 30. So, okay. Maintenance. I would like to introduce to y'all. He started today, gave him the whirlwind tour. Ryan Shirley comes to us from the hospital, who is also maintenance director there for many years. I'd like to bring him up. Ryan Shirley, our new maintenance director.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Me and Mr. Wascom made a tour today, and we're currently assessing all the needs of the school as far as the cosmetics, as far as groundskeeping, some outside maintenance repairs. Other than that, right now, I haven't got a chance to really get my feet wet yet since today's day one, so I still got a long way to go. I'm getting the out of the frying pan into the fire tour over the next few days, so please bear with me. We're gonna make a lot of changes, hopefully some good changes. So y'all have any questions?
I do. We've got it's not long standing, but it's been going on for about a year. The board asked for a report of activities. I'm sure Mr. Watson can clue you into it. It's kind of important for us to kind of see what's going on in the
Yes, sir. I'll try to have that ready for you.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thursday's meeting.
Yes, at Thursday's meeting. I'll have a little more time.
We told him we'd give him a 2-day honeymoon.
That's gonna be okay.
Good evening, everyone. As Mr. Wascom told you, we are very happy to report that school food service ended the year with $130,000 in the black. I also have turned in a claim for the month of June, which included summer school, which was approximately $60,000. The good news with that claim is that, of course, our labor costs were picked up for us, so we expect that to be primarily profit. Also, we will be operating under the Seamless Summer Program for the 21-22 school year, which means that we will be able to have all students in Natchitoches Parish eat for free for the entire school year. That also allows us to continue to claim reimbursements at a higher rate, so that should be helpful in getting us back on our feet. We are still, like Mr. Wascom, looking for some FEMA money to hit our account, and we also are expecting monies from the USDA. So I think that I just have my fingers crossed that that will happen this summer and we can start the year in a really good place. Also included in your packet, we have been very busy with the bid process. I have a recommendation there, well, actually it's probably Mr. Wascom's recommendation, for accepting a milk bid and also our paper and cleaning products. As of Thursday, there will also be some information about kitchen equipment bids that went out. Those came in, but they were very late last week, so it took a little while to get everything analyzed and ready for you, but that will be in your packets for Thursday. You guys have questions for me?
I just have something to say. You know, over the past year, we've put a new superintendent on board, a new business director on board, a new food service person on board who went through a hurricane, a blizzard, and what else? Was shoveling food herself.
And multiple.
What do you have planned for this year?
I have plans for smooth sailing. That's all. That's it. I want to see what it's like to operate in a normal year.
Well, we keep saying it over and over, but knocking on wood, Superintendent, but we're really have put together an all-star team in Natchitoches, and thank you, Ms. Simmons.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. 18.
And I'm so glad you said that, Mr. Benefit. Because in all of our haste and trying to get these 3 pages together, we forgot to include something concerning Ms. Hicks, but I'll bring it to you later. And it won't be that long, okay? I want you to remember that.
Well, we won't forget about our interim superintendent who promised us all the time.
Okay, all right. You know how to shut me up, don't you? Okay, so we have these 3 pages here, and you can just kind of look at them. You know how I do it. We have quite a few retirements, quite a few resignations, many new hires, many transfers, and quite a few administrative changes. So if you just look at that, if there's anything you want to talk about, just say something. We're advertising now for an assistant principal, a counselor, and a nurse. We will be interviewing all day Monday and possibly Tuesday as well. We've had many days like that where we interview all day. So this is what you see here, and we have some more to go.
So basically, all your positions that have been, as far as termination, retired, and all of that are going to be filled.
You've been right on it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any questions?
What's it looking like with the uncertified teachers getting their certification?
Good. Well, I hate to say it, she's not in here. I can say sugar mama is what I refer to Miss. I refer to Miss Wright. She's taking care of some funding to offer some assistance. So we have shown we've had a whole lot of interest shown concerning certification and getting whatever they're lacking.
I think in October we had around 80. So what I'd like to do, and I'd like to report to y'all around October, because that first month, that September month of really being in it is when we see still some people moving and all that. I would like to report to y'all whether that number is the same. I anticipate it's going to be better, but to be able to tell you, hey, we've reduced that number by 50%, or we've reduced it by 10, whatever it is. I think that'd be a good time to kind of touch base with those.
Speaking of that, this will be our first year with the long-term sub with that new program. So that's good. But Mrs. Page.
Yes, sir.
Item 3.0. What did you do to entice this person to come out of retirement?
Can't tell.
But tell you what, you did well. Good.
Yeah, you did
It was
very
great.
But I can tell you this, you know he wouldn't have if he didn't want to.
I understand that.
Yeah,
and I
he's
agree.
excited about it, they're excited about it, we're excited about it, we're just excited.
Whatever it was you did, right.
Have to have a heart for children to do that. All right. Y'all looked at and perused the consent agenda.
Would like to say with these bids that are being approved, this will concludes the District 9 money and all its obligations. It will be basically fully spent and everything done that was on the list I presented back, I think, in December.
Mr. Danzy?
Yeah, item 1, item 7A, permission to advertise for bids for Lakeview Golf Turf Butland annual maintenance for the Natchez Parish School District smartphone application and 3 janitorial supplies.
And real quick, I'm sorry, Mr. Danzy, number 2, we have a sole source provider letter on that one, so that one actually does not need to be, we found that out today, so.
Okay, we need it.
Is this for restaurants?
No, it's for Aptigee. Well,
And number 1, I'd like to just comment and say that we do have both the principal and the coach for Lakeview here. And truly, I want to say to my colleague, Mr. Eugene Garner, to the people of Consolidated District number 7, to Chesapeake, who, if you go there, we got 10 wells that's on site to be drilled, and 1 is already started. I want to say to Mr. Lee Wascom, to our superintendent, to our principal, coaches, and all this board, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And most of this that has come to pass really has nothing to do with none of us. It has to do with, we put it in God's hand. Now, people can say all they want to, that I'm all this God stuff, but that's who has made the difference. And God has caused this district to do some things that is just absolutely unheard of in the amount of time that these guys have been here. And so this would be another game changer in our district, this football field turf.
It'll be a plus for our school and the community all out there. They're all excited about it.
And if Principal Hines and Mr. Coach Helms have anything that they'd like to say to us. By the way, we do have our one and only golf person. We compete in every manner, every way. She's in the house.
Okay, I'm gonna be real brief about this. When I proposed this idea out some time ago, I didn't know how big of a reality it would be. And this is not, and I say this because I don't like the wording of football only, because it's not. It's a game changer for all of our organizations that will have access to use something like this. All of our sports will have access to use this. And you're talking about band, ROTC. We have 278 kids register, or 9 through 12 at Lakeview. 157 of those are registered through the Louisiana High School Athletic Association as a member of a team that would have access to something like this. So well over half of our school. Then when you talk about the extracurricular activities that could use something like this, you're talking about another 90 kids. So you're talking about almost 250 of the 272 that would have access to use this, and that are in an organization that would use this. So it is not a football-only thing. And that's what I want to try to reiterate to everyone that, and you're just talking about a game changer, and Lakeview would go from, and I don't want to sound arrogant when I say this, but when I took this job at Lakeview as athletic director 3.5 years ago, I stopped in a store and I just opened my mouth. I had nothing on Lakeview, and I said, "What do you think about Lakeview's facilities out there?" He said, "I think we ought to buy some cows and put on that football field. It looks terrible." And I said, "Okay," and I introduced myself and I said, "We're going to change that." And now we're talking about adding something that will put Lakeview at the top of 2A facilities in the state of Louisiana.
Yes.
By far.
So just to reiterate, that means state championship. 2 years or 3 years?
There was a movie, and Kevin Costner said, "Build it and they will come."
Right.
So,
and I can tell you this, Coach, they already talking about, because my class, our class, was the first class that brought football to Camden. And I'm hearing from all of these guys, and they got money and everything. They're willing to put up money to see things happen. So I'm just excited about what's going on.
I just want everybody to understand that it's not an investment for 70 to 75 football players. It's an investment for the entire school, for the entire district.
Community.
It's just, it's a game changer.
We have some real good things, not only like he said in football, but in other areas out there that's happening, you know. We're scheduled to meet with the agriculture department out there about some stuff they want to do, and also the whole school site. I mean, it's just awesome what y'all doing out there.
We've been competing in our weight. We just got our weight room in there. So listen, something else.
Lakeview on the move.
Well, thank you for inviting us here tonight. Of course, I do want to say that this is year number 30 for me, and I said I wasn't going to say that again, but this is year number 30, and I get a chance to stand up here and my former students become my bosses and all this kind of stuff. But it's fabulous, and I'm really excited to see that. Seen a lot of different boards, I'll be honest with you. Some boards would show up with sores, and, but this board is a cohesive board, and the parish knows it. The teachers know it. The administrators know that this board works together. And so I do want to say kudos to the board. Ms. Carolyn, we've seen some stuff. So kudos to the board. But I just want to say that it's clear that the vision of the board with the direction of the superintendent is that we have an excellent school system. And in the vein of producing an excellent school system, we do have to look at all facilities. Be it LP Bond, be it NJH, be it Lakeview, be it Douglas Central. And of course Douglas Central is the flagship school, we know that. But at the same time, we get a chance to, I always say, we get a chance to serve kids who show up with that red mud on their shoes, Coach. And they come in and they're just happy to be there. And as we continue to upgrade the facilities, here in Natchez Parish, it's amazing. I never thought that people in Camden wanted to walk, but when they got that new track out there, and I go out there on Saturdays and Sundays just to make sure everything's in order, and you should see the the people just walking the track and walking for their health. And so these are very important implementations of tax dollars. And I would say that the school board is doing an excellent job of making sure that those dollars go where they need to go. And so in the direction of encouraging Coach Helms to win the state title, I thank you guys so much for supporting that little school in the country, okay? Thank you.
Item 7B, take appropriate action on bids. This is the milk products that Ms. Hicks is talking about, paper products.
Yeah, the bids are they're attached, I believe, in the back.
Yeah, they're in our file.
Yeah, the file. Also, there's a bid opening. We did a bid opening for the Natchitoches Magnet and LP Vaughn renovations. When we first did a bid opening, nobody showed up to bid because of the delays in getting prices. So we gave them a little bit more time, and they were able to get prices, and we had like, I think, four bidders. And so the results of that are also in your packet. I think Tudor is the winner. Tudor is the winner, yes. And it's, well, no, we had three people that bid.
Three bidders.
And so a quite sizable range of what the bids were, but it worked out real well. Like I said, though, I was mentioning before, I jumped the gun a little bit, but this concludes now the $19.75 million that was raised in our bond for District 9. All the money, but we still have some stuff to deliver, but everything has been dedicated with these two bids. The bid that we approved last month, and which was for Weaver and East, and then these two bids here. And this also will have some I'm saving some money for a change order for Miss Felicia Pinkney's place at Nac Central. What do we call that around?
It's the
CL.
It's the CTE kitchen that they're going to be
kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes, and so that will then all our money at that point will then be exhausted. Price of things have gone up quite a bit. What was 1.2 million, we were estimating to be 850,000. Some of this is just the price of things as they are at this time. That's a pretty significant increase, but that's just how it is right now. So.
Questions on that? Item C, discuss, consider increasing funding for Natchitoches Parish 4-H, Ms. Phelps.
So I spoke to her about it, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but we had a meeting with her where we basically said we're open to it, but I think Mr. Wascom wanted to fully review next year's budget before we committed to anything, but I would definitely want her to speak specifically to it when she's here Thursday.
I know we funded it for years.
Yeah, so this is an increase
in that funding.
Yeah, and so we just want to know the full line item, what it is currently in the budget, and how it would affect us overall. And we talked to her about that. She was open to that.
Item number 7D, consider delay and further discussion and consolidation to allow for in-depth studies of demographics, transportation, and other needs of the district, agencies in terms of the needs of the district while moving forward with renewal of millages for District 2 and District 10 as separate taxing districts. Broadway, you want to comment on that?
Sure, yes. This is just kind of following up from our discussion from the previous month. And we're just looking at, we want to move forward as a district, and I think it would be a great idea for us to get some independent agencies to come in, really analyze and assess where we are, what are our needs so that we can better plan for the future. And in the meantime, just continuing forward with our separate taxing districts so that we can renew our villages at the end of the year.
Yeah, and so I briefly discussed with Mr. Hammonds some folks he would suggest for this study. He talked about some facility people, some academic people who are outsiders, and then also some demographers to really pinpoint everything on that. And then also what this does too is it separates the discussion of BOEs, which are very essential from the issue of consolidation, which we all know it's a hot button topic, and we want to be able to address all those needs, I think.
It is a parish-wide assessment too.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's not just about the issue of consolidation, it's a parish-wide.
Yeah, so, and these will be outside entities that are not from Natchitoches, from Louisiana, and have experience in school systems, but don't have any skin in the game, so to speak.
Item number 7E, consider approving a grant agreement with Rapids Foundation for renewal of the Healthy Behaviors School District Partnership Grant for the 2021-22 school year, not to exceed $46,300 over 12 months beginning July 1st, 2021. Allow the superintendent to sign all necessary paperwork. And that was on there by Ms. Ingram.
Yep.
Oh, she's about, I'm sorry.
Sorry. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer, that one.
You actually have the next 3 items, so.
Yeah, I did.
Renewal, so I think.
Yeah, I think that's something that we do.
We're familiar with it.
Yeah, it's a renewal. They both are renewal. The first one we've had actually since 2008. So, and they continue to give us a little bit more money each year, which is great. And so all schools will be participating in that. And so, do you have any questions in regards to that? It's our healthy behaviors with diet and physical activity, and then they do tobacco prevention with that. Okay. And then the next one is Youth Volunteer School District. I'm guessing it's 2. And then that is done at Lakeview and NPTCC are the 2 schools that are involved with that one. It's a service learning project, basically, is what that entails.
A service learning project?
It's basically the extent of it. The kids do, they do volunteer work. So last year, they went to the food bank several times and worked at the food bank in County and in Natchitoches. At Lakeview, they helped. They took their students to Fairview Alpha and participated for Easter and did like a reading. They also did, they did like read the books to the kids in certain classrooms. They gave them Easter eggs filled with eggs. So basically it's just allowing them, the kids, to get into the community. NPTCC did like a Stop the Violence rally, I believe. And then the students also earn community service hours, which will go as an endorsement on their diploma as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Question? Thank you, Ms. Ingram.
We've got one more item.
Yeah, I have one more.
Yeah, the hand.
Yes, sir. Just considering the handbook and the changes that are suggested that was done by the committee, they are highlighted in yellow for you. All the changes, some of it's just personnel changes and things of that nature. You got this ahead of time, maybe, nice first night?
Yeah.
Okay, the main thing is, let me tell you what page to turn to. The assignment to the redirection program on page 14, we did change that, what redirection looks like, just to make sure that they understood, like for expulsionary purposes, that they would become virtual, and that there's not actually a center that they will go to. On page 15, we added the discipline for virtual learners that you actually adopted last school year when we did virtual learning, so we just included it in here. And then on page 18, we worked with the American Heart Association this past year, and they sent us recommendations on what they looked over our policy on what we needed to do in regards to tobacco and vaping. If you're not aware, vaping is very rampant among our students and just among the population in general. They're very easy to get in school because you don't know what they look like, and there's so many different shapes and sizes and all those types of things with the vaping pen. And so we did have to include some of that and what that included and what that looked like to understand that vaping, whether it is Tobacco, they also have them in THC forms now, and if they're caught with that, then that's considered a marijuana substance, so they'll be expelled in regards to the marijuana. If they have a THC vaping pen. And so just being able to understand that, we did add that they would be given some, there's some more quit line information in regards to that. Our Refuge Foundation also kind of goes with this together in regards to tobacco prevention and getting the information to the students. So that's the main thing that will be added. I did add vehicles under smoke-free zones, as in all of our vehicles for the school board are smoke-free. It didn't say that specifically, so I did add that because it's considered property. And then just getting appropriate signage. We did get signs quite some time ago, and they faded and they've gone away, so we're going to look at getting new signage this school year. I did approach the Refuge Foundation about funding that, and it's possible that they will come to, and if not, then we'll be coming back to you guys for those. They're like $20 a piece, so it's not going to be that big of a cost per school. But we will have to put them at each of their outbuildings and things like that. Just to remind everybody that our campuses are 100% smoke-free, including vaping, which does not necessarily release a smoke. Let's see. Another page, another thing that was asked to be added on page 25, we added nose rings. Will not be permitted. They wanted to specifically say that. So they said, well, they all wore masks this year, so they didn't know that they had nose rings, but with no mask next year, it needs to specifically say that we do not allow nose rings in any student or personnel. Page 27, there were some changes to dress code, but not, just a few in regards to their shirt colors, and that was the school's choice. I think that's the main thing. The main thing was the vaping tobacco policy. I can tell you that House Bill 411 was released in July in regards to some changes, and the lawyer actually contacted us and asked to hold off on printing our handbook. I have waited to the absolute last moment to print our handbooks, and we can't really wait any longer. The House bill, I've read it, it specifically doesn't really have anything additional changes in regards to what we're already doing. They're going to have some new forms come out, so our forms will be obsolete in here, but Bessie has to create them, and I don't know when that might happen, so we're just going to continue with the forms we already have. And when that happens, then we'll just need to make an amendment to our handbook.
Ms. Ingram, on page 20, you think they will add masks to the list of infractions or throw it into conduct or habits, injuries to other students or something?
Being a person that looks at discipline a lot, I do not wish to see masks being a discipline infraction because it can get very, I don't want to see kids penalized. Like in the school we didn't have issues with it. They didn't wear a mask and they went to the office and they got new masks. So, it was pretty much the simple. So all of our kids comply. We did not have discipline issues with that. Now with the bus, I do see there might be some other issues come up, and we'll have to put that into play.
They'll have a meeting and
Right.
We'll come up with this.
We'll come up with a solution, which is gonna be hard, to be honest. Because when they get to the back, how do you know if they keep it on or don't have it on? And we don't want them pulling over the bus and prolonging time because they won't put it on, type thing.
Well, the bus driver can't watch 10 students in the back.
Right. So.
and dodge potholes.
Yes.
Right. So, any questions on that? Okay. I do have Bill 411. If you would like me to send it to you, I'll be happy to do that as well. So there's some things with Bessie that has to happen, so whenever
Bessie doesn't meet again until August,
Right.
and that's if they take up action on that, so.
Right, if they take action, and then this bill goes into place August 1st, so, it's kind of a, we just have to move forward.
That's right.
Yeah, and we'll make amendments as necessary.
Have the books ready.
Right. So. All right, so any questions, just let me know, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes finance.
All right, what page? All right. I'll, look for Mr. Benefield. Just kind of leveling on that. Number 9, executive report.
We sent out last, actually about a week and a half ago, superintendent's evaluation. We've expounded a little more on what the 6-month evaluation. We've changed this to a year. It's kind of self-explanatory. The things in the back are district targets that were not at 6 months, and also individual school performance targets. And so if you would, spend some time working through this, and so we'll have an executive session on Thursday night and evaluate the superintendent.
So, real quick, on some of these items, on the performance targets, we're not gonna have data?
That's correct.
Okay, so on those, it's just kind of a not applicable type situation?
Right.
Okay.
We just need to mention them, but we have.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We will not have full data.
And the reason I mentioned that too is part of that August board meeting that Bessie's partaking is to determine if we're gonna have
SBS school.
letter grades and all that, which the word from on high, is that should not be the case, but it won't be official until they make it official. We're one of 9 states that is still grappling with if we should or shouldn't.
Well, all in all, it's a good sounding board for each one of the board members to spend some time thinking about what we've done in the last school year and the struggles that we've had and overcome, and put them on paper, and we'll talk about it Thursday night.
Sounds good.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn?